Welcome or welcome back. I'm super happy that you're here today. Today we are going to be working on the marketplace on Foxgrove, and this is actually part 2 of the marketplace. If you saw my last speed build, you'll see that I was working on a post office and a used bookstore and just a few other little shops here in the plaza that I'm standing in right now. And so today we are actually working on Nooks Cranny and kind of a little farmer's market slash flea market. But can we just take a second to appreciate Nooks Cranny before it's upgraded? It is so cute. I suppose this is also kind of a peninsula speed build as well, because I'm planning to build the farmer's market over on the peninsula. So it's kind of a limited space, so we will see how it all comes together. But right now I am just going to start out by mapping out where I would like the trees to go behind Nooks Cranny. I kind of want this area to just kind of frame Nooks. I do want this to still be a very rustic, kind of natural vibe, even though it's a little bit more city-like. And I think just surrounding this with trees will look really nice in the end. You can also see I have built a land bridge, and that is going to lead to a more farm slash residential area, and that will be coming in the future. So I'm just going to get started laying out this brick path in front of Nooks Cranny. I really love this path, and I've been playing around with just placing it in slightly different ways, like offsetting the edges and kind of using it not how it's intended a little bit. So I actually kind of like the effect that it gives. So I think it's a really, really beautiful custom design though. And it really, really helps to bring these areas together. So as I said, I'm really going for a pretty natural vibe for Nooks Cranny. Because it is not upgraded, I think that it ends up looking super, super cool and very, very rustic. So over to the left here, I want there to be kind of like a back alleyway sort of thing. I was thinking about using the oil barrels and just some boxes, maybe some like discarded inventory. Also, where that green oil barrel placed was definitely a happy accident. I wanted it to go right next to the other one, but it sort of just like pushed over to the side, and I ended up thinking that that looked better than what I had originally intended. So I am just kind of placing some custom designs to fill in the area, and then I put a utility sink down. I really love the utility sink, especially in these more kind of rustic areas. I think it just looks super, super cool. So I'm just going to start sort of mapping out the items that I want to put in front of Nooks here. I end up using these pirate barrels a ton in this build. Shout out to Nadia's AC Shop on Instagram for being an amazing Treasure Island service, which is how I got so many of these pirate barrels. I think that it is just so helpful, and it would have taken me forever to have gotten them on like Nookazon or something like that. So I'm just moving this barrel out here because I want to add some custom designs underneath. I think that it actually really makes the area look a little bit more natural and much more full, just with having that design there underneath things. It's just an extra little kind of unnecessary but nice detail, I guess. I also wanted to add a place for people to sit here along the road, so I am placing a garden bench. And then I always kind of survey the area. You'll notice I move the camera around quite a lot when I'm decorating. And I just kind of wanted to see how it is going to look from all different angles. I think it kind of helps, especially if you are trying to get certain kind of aesthetic pictures of your island. If you move the camera a lot, I find that that is very helpful. So I'm just kind of making sure that I can still get through here, even though that sort of back alleyway is not super visible. I do think it kind of adds, a little bit to the area. So even though the tree kind of blocks it a little, I don't mind too much. I'm just going to add another jail bar back here because I felt like it was slightly too empty maybe, and ultimately I like the look of having them extend behind the building. You can see when I pan the camera here, it just kind of helps it to be a little bit more full, I think. And then I'm sort of placing this bounty arch so I can visualize how this area is going to connect with the land bridge that I'm going to build in the future. And then next I am going to start mapping out the building for the farmer's market. So this definitely took a ton of trial and error, and you'll kind of see where my head was at as you're watching in a second. But building buildings, for lack of a better word, has been a huge challenge. And working with the different illusions is actually so hard. So shout out to all of the people who make city court islands. You guys are amazing. And honestly, I don't think I'm coming anywhere close to your talent. But I am pleased with the finished product. So I end up using this loft bed sort of as a bit of roofing. And then I found these window custom designs, and I think they just look so cute with this little plant in the window. It seemed very farmer's market-y / like barn-esque to me, so I thought that they were very cute. And then I end up trading out everything that I did for the simple panels that have the copper edges rather than the light brown. I felt like it looked a lot better with this custom design, and you'll notice I also switched out the loft bed for a bookcase that has been turned around in the other direction. I think that the tones of the loft bed just kind of looked a little bit funny down on that main level, and I think that the bookshelf adds a little bit of height, kind of like roofing, but it's still a close enough brown tone that I think it looks a little more realistic. But you guys will have to let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you like the lighter color edge on the simple panels, and did you like the loft bed better as a roof, or do you like the bookcase and these darker panels better? So I'm just adding the log burning stove because I wanted to give the illusion that maybe there's a fireplace inside the farmer's market. I feel like that's a very cozy sort of thing. And then I ended up going with the black loft bed instead of the light brown because I felt like it looked just a little bit better with that wood burning stove. So now I'm just kind of playing around with the building itself. I felt like I needed to add another bookshelf, and then I'm going to push these simple panels over one tile because I felt like maybe they needed to be more in the middle. This area was really a challenge to work with because it is the peninsula and there's not a ton of room. So I was trying to make it look as building-like as possible in the space that I had. I honestly, in hindsight, probably could have picked a better place to do the farmer's market, but we made it work. So I'm just adding in these jar custom designs because I kind of want there to be this look like they're selling like jelly that they made from their farm or something like that. So next I'm going to start laying this dirt path. I decided to use this dirt path instead of the brick pathing here because I wanted it to look a little bit more rustic for the farmer's market, and plus I just felt like I was using the other path maybe too much. So I wanted to add a little bit of variation here, and I know I've said this before, but I just love this path so much. After using the more like solid dirt path on my previous island, I just think this one looks so soft. And I just really like the effect that it gives, especially in this time of year, and with the other flower colors that I'm using on this island. I just think it looks so pretty. So I am just playing around with what I'm going to put at the end of the peninsula here. I kind of want there to be like a kind of kitchen-y area down here. I'm not sure exactly where I want to go with that, but decorating the end of the peninsula is a little bit tricky because even though I was limited in space before, I'm even more limited in space. I end up really using the simple panels as a way to kind of block out the background here, and I think it really does help to make this feel a lot less like it's actually the peninsula and more like the area just kind of naturally flows here. And now I'm going to start actually putting some decorations on some of the stalls. I wanted this to have lots of fruits and some plants for people to buy. Definitely staples at the farmer's market, at least where I live. And so I am putting lots of plants here and some things that the farmers might want to buy. And then I wanted to make maybe like a little tea or coffee area over here. I thought that the green kettle just looked kind of pretty over there. So I'm also going to throw in the Turkey Day casserole because I think that item is so cute. All of the Turkey Day items I think are really cute. And then of course we need a pumpkin stack because that just kind of feels a little bit farmer's market-y to me. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do in this area, so I just threw a lot of my favorite objects together. And then I ended up moving the pumpkin stack over to the other side because the table was kind of overlapping and I felt like it just kind of helped to blend that in just a little bit. And then I'm using the beach ball in the watermelon variation here, which I think is such a cute item. And then just to fill in this space in front of the farmer's market, I decided to make a little seating area here. I only just add this one table in, mostly because there's not a ton of room, but usually at a farmer's market, there's a place to sit and eat or have a little bit of coffee. So that's kind of what I was going for in this spot. And then I end up customizing this ironwood cupboard. You're going to see me later in the video come back and put the simple panels behind this cupboard, which ends up looking a lot better. And so I'm just adding a few little items here. I was kind of thinking of like a flea market where there's a lot of antiques and things like that. And so I was just kind of going for more of an eclectic feel in this area. And then I decided to add the fencing here, which again, I think helps to kind of almost black out the background a little bit, or block out the background. And I think it kind of blends in with the simple panels just a little bit better. So I'm also going to add some hay beds here, which I think help this to feel a little bit more farm-like and rustic. And I want to divide this area again with some fencing. I feel like it kind of makes a little alleyway behind where this sort of building is that I had built in a previous speed build. And I think it kind of gives it more of a, I don't know, it makes it feel like it's its own section. And I'm loving those alleyways. I think they're so cute. So I'm just placing the other hay bed there, and I'm going to go back here and just fill in this space with some custom designs. I don't usually fill in the sides of the cliff, but this part of the cliff is going to be visible from the beach, so I did kind of want it to be full, and I don't want any fossils or weeds to spawn here. I absolutely love that mossy rock and the leaves design. I just think it's really soft and it really isn't too obtrusive. It's just perfect for filling in those little areas. And as always, all of the custom designs that I use are always going to be in my card, which is always in my description box. So I make sure that I update that for every speed build that I do. So that's always going to be up to date with all of the codes that I'm using. So right now I'm just kind of trying to fill in this awkward little area here. I just kind of felt like something needed to go here, so I ended up just going ahead and putting some barrels here again. So I wasn't exactly sure what to put on top of that barrel, so I went over here in the alleyway and plucked one of the cosmos flowers, and I'm just going to put that there, and I wanted to pluck it from an area that wouldn't be super visible for the final walkthrough of the speed build. And then I'm kind of having a big brain moment here, trying to figure out how to place the flower so that it's facing the right way, but I didn't want the pirate logo to be showing, so that took me more time than I let on. I edited a lot of it out. So I'm just kind of adjusting the path here so that I can add some flowers. I feel like it kind of frames the area just a little bit better than having only the path. So I end up cheating and just putting the cornucopia on the stall off to the side. I feel like it's not super visible as you're walking through, but maybe I will end up going through and putting something a little bit cuter there maybe. I don't know. Let me know what you think, or if you have any ideas for other items that you think would fit really well in a farmer's market. I would love to hear it. So right now I'm just kind of extending this roadway just a little bit. As I said, I'm going to be working on that area later, but just for the pictures, I wanted it to look a little bit more finished. And then now I'm just filling in these little areas back here with some bushes and flowers and custom designs. So now I am just adding in those panels where they were missing before, and I feel like this is such a nice finishing touch. I feel like it really brings the area together, and I wish the tree was fully grown, but once it is, it ends up looking so good. This is definitely one of those builds where I was just doubting myself the entire time, and sometimes you just have to go with the process, and it ends up turning out pretty good in the end. So I decided to add this little balloon in here, and then I'm going to come back over to Nooks Cranny here, and I'm going to place a rake custom design that I found. I really wish that I could find the creator of this design. So if you know who that is, I've done a ton of searching and I can't find them. So if you know who created this rake design, I think it is so insanely creative. I mean, look at it. It is so cute with the little vaulting pole. I love it so much, and I'm so excited to use it in the more like farm-like sections of the island. So this is the final walkthrough. Here is Nooks Cranny and its little kind of shack. I love it. I think that it looks super cute. And then we have the finished farmer's market over here. All right, and that is the finished Nooks Cranny and Farmer's Market. I'm super curious what you think of this area, and if you would ever leave your Nooks Cranny in its first state, please let me know in the comments below. If you like content like this and you want to see more, please do be sure to like and subscribe to see more content from me in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye!